Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to another one of Nathan Bell's commentary videos about society, culture, art, politics, anything. He covers all the subjects. If you are into this sort of thing, like, subscribe, and if you like this video, give it a share to a friend who might be interested. Today, Nate wants to talk about pop culture.
Yeah, well, I've never really been into pop culture. I've always been really alternative minded. Like I'm into really alternative bands. Really, I like to search the internet for obscure music when I listen to music. I haven't been listening to music for a while, but I like to search for really obscure bands. And I'm really into heavy metal and political hip hop, and I'm into some stuff that most people aren't aware of. Like some of the hip hop groups I've listened to over the years, a lot of people don't know. I like guys like Immortal Technique, really underground stuff. And but in my mind, pop culture, most of the time, most people seem to be into the pop culture stuff. Most of the world seems to be into the pop culture stuff, and pop culture is like Taylor Swift, it's like Ed Sheeran, it's also like fashion and clothing and brands. And I often wonder why people are so. I feel it's like being gullible. It's like they're so susceptible to being swept away by what's popular to others. And I think a lot of it's about meeting the expectations of other people as to what is cool and hip and trendy. And I've never been into being cool and hip and trendy because for me it's all about appeasing the expectations of others. I've always been about being a real radical trendsetter and setting my own expectations and then pushing my expectations onto everyone else and making everyone else conform to how I think. Pop culture is all about conforming to mass consensus and doing what others think is trendy and cool. And we're particularly, I was susceptible to this when I was a teenager. I wanted, particularly I liked the skateboarding culture, which was really in at the time, in like 2000 when I was in high school, and I wanted all the expensive skate shoes. So you harass your parents to buy you the expensive skate shoes. And of course, as you get older, you realise, why are these shoes so expensive? And why is this brand so expensive? And it's like all the skateboarding brands, the poppy, trendy brands, half of these brands are just the name of the company on a shirt with a picture. Why is that so impressive? Yet everyone's into it. Why is it so impressive to have a tick for Nike and the word Nike and there's 10,000 different variants of products that all have the same exact image on them, a tick and the word Nike, and it's this big impressive thing, and everyone's so blown away by it. I've got to have the latest pair of Nikes. I've got to have a Nike t-shirt, because it's a tick. It says Nike, and that's the same thing on every bloody product, but most people are into this stuff. A lot of the pop music doesn't really make you think. It's not controversial. It doesn't push boundaries. It doesn't push social norms and challenge you to view the world a different way. It's all just, I don't want to be cynical, but it's always just, I'm in love with a girl. I'm in love with a girl because she's hot. It's the same thing every time. I'm in love with a girl because she's hot. And so much of it is driven by the over-sexualization of women as well in pop culture. And so much of pop culture is about viewing women as sexual objects as well. And, half the fashion is about viewing women as sexual objects, and half the music videos and the songs are all about viewing women as sexual objects, and it's all this obsession with sex. I think sex is great as well. I'm not going to pretend like I don't enjoy sex, but, get your priorities straight. Come on, the world isn't all about sex. Half of the pop culture industry is just about the over-sexualization of women, and viewing women as objects. And it's, as I said, all the fashion and the clothing, it's all just about appeasing other people's expectations of who you should be. And it's all about saying, if you don't wear the Nike, you're not acceptable. If you don't wear the Armani, you're not acceptable. If you don't have the latest Rolex, you're not acceptable. It's all about status. It's just about using items and logos and brand names to establish that you have a status of financial wealth. And it all just comes down to saying, I have the Nike shoes, the Armani shirt, and the Rolex. Therefore, I can display that I have financial wealth. Therefore, I have money. I am rich. It's all just capitalism. It's just rampant capitalism. It's consumerism. And that's all the pop culture is. It's just rampant consumerism and seeking status and approval from others. Why do I need your approval? This is my life. I'm going to die one day. And when I'm dead, that's the end of my life. I want my approval. I want to know that my life was meaningful for me for the reasons that I wanted my life to be meaningful. I'm not going to do anything to impress you. I'm doing things to impress me and to make me satisfied that I lived the life that I wanted to live. And that's my liberalism again. It's my individualism saying my life at the end of the day, I care about the community and I care about others, and I do think it's important that we have expectations of each other. But my life at the end of the day, what it comes down to is that I lived a satisfying life before I die. But pop culture, as I said, it's all about conforming to other people's expectations of how you should act and who you should be and what is cool and trendy. And it's always this really superficial stuff about how what is important is to have that picture of the Nike tick and the word Nike, and that's what's important in life, is that you have that item of clothing that has that image on it, and this is what people think is important. I've never been into that sort of rampant consumerism and status seeking. I'm into Rage Against the Machine. I'm into really alternative bands and bands that present something with substance and meaning and lyrics that are powerful and thought-provoking and push boundaries and make you think about how the world should be different. And I like art and imagery that conveys meaning and message and says something with substance and powerful and preferably political. Pop culture is rarely political. There was a period when I was in high school where there was a lot of really political, popular, alternative music, System of a Down and stuff, and Rage Against the Machine, but that period has died, and the sort of music has really been pushed down and isn't popular anymore. And I really wish we could get back to that, to having pop culture that was pushing boundaries and challenging people to think differently. I think pop culture has gotten even more stale and even more bland and even more generic over the last sort of 15 years, and the music that's coming out has been even more generic and just presenting the same rubbish love songs over and over again. There's nothing wrong with love songs, but now I'm going to totally flip it and say those things are also okay though. Like there's nothing wrong with liking a happy love song about falling in love. Of course we want to listen to songs about falling in love. People want to talk about love and the things that give them happiness in life. So we want to hear songs about love and relationships because we value love and romantic relationships, and we want to have romantic, powerful, and meaningful relationships. So we like music that makes us think about relationships and romance that we've had in our life. But, when it's just that, and you're never thinking about anything else other than brands names and sexual attraction and love and romance all the time, think about something a bit more serious. Go and watch my videos. You see I think about many serious issues. So be a bit more serious and be a bit more about politics and push boundaries and expand your knowledge base instead of just thinking about love songs all the time. But like I said, there's a place in the world also for love songs and happy songs. But I do think a lot of pop songs and pop music in particular just appeals to very basic instincts and desires to feel happy in the moment in a very superficial way, in a very shallow way, which won't give you any deeper or more complex satisfaction in life. I think satisfaction in life comes from having a complex, deep and thorough understanding of how the world works and your place in the world. And I don't think a lot of pop music can deliver that complex philosophical understanding of the nature of the world. I think it's very superficial and very shallow and appeals to people's almost intentional detachment from the harsh realities of life. It's a distraction from dealing with the real issues of the world. A lot of pop music is just designed to make you bop your head senselessly and feel like you're having a good time in the moment, and to forget the troubles of the world. Well, I'm all about addressing the troubles of the world. I'm immersed in the troubles of the world all day, and I think about the troubles of the world all day. And it's guys like me who who think about the troubles of the world all day that will build a better world. It's not people listening to pop music and bopping their head and forgetting the traumas of the world. They won't build a better world. Guys like me who think about the troubles of the world every day and write music about the troubles of the world and address the troubles of the world and are serious in our thinking. Guys like Zach De La Rocca and the music he writes, we're the ones that will build a better world for the rest of the people who just want to switch off. And that's all pop culture seems to be about to me. It's about switching off from reality. Anyway, there's some thoughts about pop culture. So drop a comment in the comment section about what you think about pop culture.